Talton, let's take a look at your swing here, and starting from left to right, we're going to go through the first three phases of our system. The setup is phase one, the load is phase two, the halfway or C position is phase three, and then of course contact is phase four, and the finish is phase five. We're not going to focus on 4 or 5. We're going to work on the first three, and I suggest that you might even take the illustration I provided at the clinic and follow along in referencing some of these key points. Now, I want to start in phase one, moving left to right. In the phase one illustration on the far left, real simple. I like the setup. The one thing that I would change, and the green line is an indication of what we call a knob knee alignment. And that means the knob of the bat is centered over the back knee and would be over the top of the strike zone, right about the same level where you have your hands now, which is good. But I would move them in to give us room to then go into that phase two or that load process. Now you'll see I've circled the hands in the yellow, and I've placed that yellow circle right just above a white arrow. Now the white arrow is an indication of where your hands are already starting. That is the phase two slot or position. And so you're already set up in a position to where you're all migrated phase one and phase two together, and it's going to cause us a lot of problem because you can't go anywhere else but down. Now if you move over and you look at phase two, you'll begin to see, as I have identified in the blue line, that this is exactly what happens, particularly with your head level. Now you'll note in phase one, the illustration, I start this blue line that runs across actually a part of all three of the illustrations. And that blue line is an indication that where you actually are starting from your shoulder. Now if I put that where your eyes are, you'd have a considerable head drop. You would notice a difference. You can also just, you can see it even with the line I've got where your head is dropping, because we are in a phase two type of position in phase one. And so we want to make room for ourselves to load straight back directly where the blue line is. So you would be standing tall like you are in phase one, moving your hands kind of in that position where the green line, as I've indicated, and then in phase two you would simply follow the direction of the blue arrow, taking them straight back and keeping the front side closed. Now in phase two, at the bottom on the front foot near the yellow circle with the one, you've begun to slightly open up. It's not really bad, but any opening is going to cause some drop. The key here is that phase one, the position you're in, you really don't have anywhere else to go. And as you can see in the phase two, your head and your hands and everything is simply just went straight down and taken away your size, your leverage, and it's really going to cause problems. Now, as we move into phase three, you can see in phase three, in the red circle with the white numeric 1, here is probably a part of the reason, as the mechanics of the swing a lot of times are tied to either the front side opening or the back side's lack of pivot. Both of those movements are movements designed to help the hips open up. And since you don't have a lot of backside pivot, as you can see phase three, if you look at the illustration that I gave you at the clinic, you'll see that at this point, with your hands about at the midline of your body, even though they've dropped, let's still take note of the fact they should be up, but even though they've dropped, that's the halfway point or the C position. You should be totally shoestrings forward if you look at that illustration, but you're not here. And you're trying your best to try to get some leverage through the swing, and it's just not working. So we're going to set you up and begin to rework that load and begin to take advantage of your size. You're not getting any advantage. You're not taking it to any degree that which God has given you in a strong body type. And it's, you know, this is going to be a blessing for you. You're going to see, as I mentioned at the clinic. So let's begin by working on that, moving the hands in and incrementally getting you set up and getting that backside pivot connected to the swing. And you're going to see an incredible, incredible series of advancements. I mean, this is going to be really huge for you. So looking forward to working with you, and we'll get started ASAP.